We are going to be doing a smaller version of a animal grid drawing in order to practice for our larger grid drawing that we will be doing. However, this specific worksheet just focuses on contour line. So it just focuses on the outline of the animal. It doesn't include any shading. First thing we want to do before we begin is write our name, our period number, and our desk number, because all of these are going to look very similar, so it is important that we have our name on it. When we are doing the grid, we are going to use our viewfinder, so our index card with our square cutout, so that we can focus on one square. If you have that over one square, you can't see the rest of the drawing. We're focusing on one square at a time. This viewfinder is blank. It doesn't have any marks on it. I prefer to use one that has the marks, so I made these at halfway on each side so that I can divide my square up even further into 4 smaller squares. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly sketch 4 little squares using those lines on my viewfinder on the drawing, and I'm going to do that over here as well. So that now my square is divided up even further, so it's easier for me to see where those lines intersect so that I can more accurately draw it in my empty grid. We're going to be graphing and figuring out kind of where these lines meet up on where the lines intersect on these lines that I've drawn, just like you graph in math class. So as you can see, the line comes up from the corner and it intersects right about here. If you look where it intersects on that line in the middle, and then comes off the page over here. So I like to make little marks, and then I also will lightly sketch over my drawing just to kind of get a feel for how the line curves. So as you can see, I kind of sketched and then figured out where it was. So I roughly have that drawn in that top square, and I also have a little line, as you can see, coming out right there. So then I'm going to repeat the same process in the next square. I'm going to make my little graph, my 4 smaller squares, and that's not required, but I would recommend it so that you can divide it up even smaller and see where the lines are. So this one comes out, it meets about here on that middle line. On this line you see it come up. If you sketch over that, it comes off about here and it curves over like that. And then there's another little line coming out. And then you see coming from the line of the square next to it is this line that comes down into the lower left square with another line that comes into the square and one more that intersects right about here. So make sure you have all your lines in each square before you then move on to the next, and you're going to continue that process until your entire elephant contour line is drawn on this empty grid.